After the blockages in Panama continue for over 3 weeks now, preventing me from going to the shooting range, it seems to be the appropriate moment to talk about my everyday carry. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you what I am carrying right now. I might change a lot of this in the future, but at least as of now, I'm going to introduce you to my gun and my everyday carry equipment. Hello and welcome, this is Hoplophile, and on this channel we are going to talk about guns with a positive attitude, as the name itself suggests already. One of these aspects is self-defense and self-defense with a gun. Of course, part of it will be the everyday carry, so let's just go right through it. I start off with my watch. Right now I'm just wearing like a fitness armband. I think it was $25. The watch itself that is in there, because I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning and the vibration alarm there is just really worth it, so I'm not wearing my mechanical watch that I would otherwise wear. I'm also obviously having a cell phone. I mean, not much special about this here, and my keychains. And here we already have something a little bit different. First of all, I'm having this weird looking key, which is actually a knife. I have this for quite a while. I think it's absolutely not adequate for self-defense. I use this mostly to open up a package, or maybe to cut open a ketchup package for my fries that didn't rip open like it's supposed to be. But the first thing here is, I think it's CS gas. It's not pepper spray, but it's definitely like a self-defense spray that I bought. I actually started carrying a self-defense spray after carrying a gun, simply to allow me the choice to escalate, to react to an escalation. That's the right thing, to react to an escalation that I'm facing without already going towards lethal force. If I'm at a point where I can't retreat from a conflict anymore, where words don't help anymore, but where it's absolutely unjustified and where I don't want to flash lethal force, then the spray is the perfect tool, as it will help get me distance, as it will probably allow me to disengage, to run away without having to resort to anything that could cause a deadly threat. Because obviously me pulling a gun also threatens the other part. So if he's carrying a gun legally or illegally, he could claim that he felt threatened for his life and thus shoot me. By using a pepper spray, I'm not entering into that field, so this allows me to de-escalate and to stay far below a lethal threshold if it's not absolutely necessary. Obviously, if someone charges me with a knife, or if somebody tries to shoot me with a gun, I will have to resort to my gun, but only then, and this spray will allow me to do that. But as we talk about the gun, let's switch over to it right now. This here is my current carry gun, as you can see, in a Kydex holster covering the trigger area, so it's safe. I'm in Panama, so carrying leather is not really an option because of the heat and the moisture. My current carry gun is the Mossberg MC2C. Mossberg, usually known for its shotguns, is also making pistols now. I'll just show you, it doesn't have a magazine in it and the chamber is empty. Let me quickly do it like we did it in the army. You put your finger in, it's empty. Now this is the version with a safety in here. That's the first unpleasant thing with this gun, as it is with a small blade that you have to shove through. When I bought the gun, it was my first carry gun ever that I intended to have as a carry gun, and in the German army everything I had a manual safety, so I simply wasn't comfortable carrying something that wouldn't have a manual safety to prevent unintentional discharge. By now I've evolved further. I now trust a blade safety on the trigger safety, but at that point I wasn't there yet, and thus it helped me to feel safer, as I am convinced if you carry, you need to carry with a bullet in the chamber, otherwise it doesn't make much sense. And then obviously preventing an accidental discharge can be life-saving, can be absolutely essential. The bad thing about it is, if I draw it, I need to, instead of keeping the finger long until I shoot, I need to move the finger back, slide it through, and then move forward again. And that's obviously not ideal to move the finger around here, because you might accidentally put it on the trigger or anything like this. It's the old version, so it doesn't have optic cut yet. I'm mostly used to shoot with iron sights, and I've gotten fairly accurate with this gun. I'm running through 5,000 rounds on it yet already, so it's well used, really, really reliable. I now had to change the spring of the bolt, but that was it. It's a fantastic gun for me right now, but as said, the safety doesn't make me too happy, so I'm going to try out other guns, and usually I would carry it in the front abdomen. So just pull up the shirt and draw the gun if needed. That's the way to use it. As one gun might be enough when it comes to your armament, but as I feel the need to use another magazine, I have a full 15 round one here. I usually carry it with a 13 round, and you see the difference here at the base plates. It's slimmer, so the first one where I carry with a bullet in the chamber, I basically have 14 rounds available. That should solve every problem under reasonable means. So you wouldn't necessarily need a second magazine, but magazines can fail. You can have a failure in the gun. You might accidentally hit the ejection and then the magazine falls down, so you might need a second one. I carry it in a small holster. The reason for that is that it happened twice to me that the magazine fell out of my pocket, out of my trousers. Once in a public place, I don't think anyone saw it, and the second time it was inside of the car and it stayed behind in the car. If I carry concealed, I don't want anyone else to know it. It doesn't make sense to show that I have a magazine, and if I lose it, if I drop it and lose it, that's not good either. I might even theoretically come into legal trouble because I'm handing over ammunition to someone else. And of course, in the worst case, should I need the gun, and even if it just dropped inside of my car, I suddenly find I don't have another one. So that's why I actually switched to the holster to carry it with me. In the gun, I'm using hollow points. It's the Winchester that is opening up. It has a high stoppage power, so it dumps all the energy it carries into the first target that it hits, which means it has a high chance of stopping that target really, really fast in its aggression, and at the same time it prevents it from going through and hitting something behind it that I didn't aim at. So this seems to be the very perfect thing. The interesting part here is it didn't actually work initially. The feeding ramp had to be polished first. Before that, it was basically unusable, and I had to carry hollow points. Now, the next thing I carry is I started carrying a proper knife, not because I like knives. I actually hate them. I'm afraid of them. I'm more afraid of knives than I am of guns. But I saw it with a friend, and that convinced me that having something with which you can break a window inside of your car and with which you can cut yourself free if you're stuck and the car is sinking or something is really helpful. So this knife has like a sharp point here that you can use to smash a car window. This hook here has a blade inside to cut your seatbelt to get out. And of course, in worst case, if I need the knife for either working or self-defense, even though I usually don't carry it ready, that it would be good for self-defense, I can open it with one hand too. So if the other hand is busy, that could help in this regard as well. The last item, the last bigger item I carry is the tactical sling here. I have my blood type on it in case of an emergency, and here I switch around. Right now I have the Bavarian flag because I'm from Bavaria, and I switch that around. In the front I obviously carry what you should carry. It's a tourniquet. It's a tourniquet to allow stopping heavy bleeding. It can either be myself or it can be someone else. I don't carry a gun because I intend to go into gunfights. I carry it. I usually say if I believed I would need a gun, I would leave the country, I would go somewhere else, or I would go into another area. I try to avoid every possible situation where guns might be needed, but I still do carry it because I want to take the responsibility for my own safety. In this regard, it just makes sense that if I carry something to stop an aggression towards me for the almost non-existent chance that it might happen, then it simply makes sense to carry something to stop heavy bleeding as well in that case. And it's probably more likely that I'm going to use the tourniquet than the gun, as it can help if I'm coming in at a scene of a car crash and a motorcyclist has lost an arm and is bleeding out. With the tourniquet, I can save his life. I also have in the front, I have some earplugs in case I forgot mine when I go to the shooting range, a multi-tool that allows me to manipulate, either do something where I need tools, or with that I can, for instance, I have pliers where I can use to pull out a 22 round that got stuck in its gun or something like this. And here I have keys. I think it's called Allen keys, I think. Here. The interesting part is one side is metric and one is imperial, because I need them for optics, and some of the optics I have are in imperials and some of them are in metric. That's usually not the problem because they're close enough, but there are some where the smaller one is too small and the bigger one is too big, where you actually need the other system to manipulate it. So I have that one in here as well. And in the big package, I have miscellaneous, I don't know, like, I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know, stuff that whatever I need to carry. And I usually carry 4 more magazines, not because I believe I need 60 more rounds, but usually when I carry this, I go to the shooting range and then I want more magazines to be able to shoot and to be able to leave the self-defense magazines loaded and not having to unload them, and not having to shoot the expensive hollow point ammo after checking that it works. I don't intend to shoot it too much because every round is really expensive. So I have 4 more magazines of that in here. As said, like, I think it's far from likely, it's impossible that I'll ever going to use them in a self-defense situation, but at the shooting range, for the shooting range, I want to carry them, and that's why I have them here. If I switch to another gun where I don't have that many magazines, then I simply won't take that many magazines. As said, I don't see the real need for it, but that's more or less it, what I carry on me. So I hope that was interesting for you. Write into the comment section what you would like to see else, or maybe what you carry. Which gun do you carry? Do you carry a gun, or are you against that? And leave the comment to let me know what you would like to see else next time here on the channel. And if you're new here, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. As said, this channel is run by a German living in Panama, so a little different perspective. We're talking about guns from a positive attitude, everything that entails it here, except I'm trying to stay mostly away from politics, apart from the fact that I'm not a hoplophobe. So apart from that, I try to stay away from politics, as much of it isn't my cup of tea, or as I don't intend to start an argument around it. So I hope you found that interesting, and then I want to thank you for your time, and I hope I see you next time.